Taking a time now to find your seat, your meditation seat. Feeling the body sitting. Taking these moments to arrive right here, right now. Finding some stillness, noticing that movement happens even in stillness. What the monk Ajahn Chah called a still forest pool. That sense of movement and stillness. In the stillness, the movement can be so subtle that we barely perceive it. Finding the breath in the body. Noticing the sensations. Relaxing the mind, relaxing the body. There is a body. Connecting with your intention for showing up, listening to this meditation. And I want to share with you a reading that I received from a mailing list that I'm on that's about spiritual practice. Sometimes we need to stop, feel, and let it all unravel, just like nature does at this time of the year. When the land becomes dormant, the trees naked, the birds silent, deep underneath the soil decays, matures, and gets ready for the inevitable new growth. With the winter solstice, meaning stillness of the sun, the Earth's northern hemisphere reminds us of intimacy with darkness, silence, and stillness in times when we don't know the way forward. Darkness is the landscape of the deeper senses that do not find expression in struggle and achievement, in small talk, or social media posts, but in inner maturation and fruition. As spiritual seekers, we can get seduced by light, illumination, expansion, and perhaps miss on letting life shake up, undo, decompose our linear thinking and accumulated knowledge. We can be forced to be still and to listen. Healing trauma means becoming familiar with the darker side of our experience, learning to notice and allow the discomfort of anger, sadness, confusion. Yes, these too are messengers from the depth of our heart. Before we celebrate the return of longer daylight, let's also remember to honor the darkness for the stillness, maturation, and inner strength it brings to our lives. Perhaps some of you are feeling some of the collective anger or discouragement about the re-arising of this COVID variant. Fear, seclusion, isolation. Connecting with this moment here, being together, a sangha, a community. Community of spiritual seekers. Connecting with kindness, caring, wisdom, connecting with all of us as learners on the path. Sometimes we just need to stop, feel, and let it all unravel, just like nature does at this time of year. When the land becomes dormant, the trees naked, the birds silent, deep underneath the soil decays, matures, and gets ready for the inevitable new growth. As spiritual seekers, we can get seduced by light, illumination, expansion, and perhaps miss on letting life shake up, undo, decompose our linear thinking and accumulated knowledge, force us to be still and to listen. Relaxing the heart, relaxing the mind, allowing, opening, softening. Taking refuge, perhaps right now in the breath, in our coming together. Welcome to all who are joining us, who are new. Welcome. bringing the attention now to metta practice, kindness practice. That sense of loving kindness or loving friendliness. And if it's hard to bring up those feelings, perhaps just having the intention of reconnecting with them when you can. Bringing yourself to mind, perhaps just a sense of yourself. Your sense of yourself may be sitting here right now. The kindness and wise attention that brought you here today, or that brings you to spiritual practice, that brings you to taking the time to settle down, quiet the mind, quiet the body, connect with the heart. Kindness that brings you here, kindness to yourselves. As our practice matures, we become kinder. It's a natural result, not just to ourselves, but to others. We see that all beings just want to be happy, take things less personally, know that all beings suffer. Some of the traditional phrases in metta, kindness practice. May I be safe and protected. May I care for my well-being. May I be kind to myself. May I have some self-compassion when I'm suffering. May I find ease of heart, of mind. Breathing in and breathing out these kind intentions towards yourself, caring. If you find it very difficult to do this for yourself, bring to mind somebody you know that cares for you, or an archetype, a very caring being. That sees your wholesome qualities. Cares about your happiness. Somebody that cares for your well-being. May you be well. May you wish yourself well. May we patiently find our way through the upheavals of this time in our lives, this time in all of our lives. This virus teaches us the truth of our interconnectedness again and again. And as many of you know, when we do metta practice, we go through different groups or different kinds of beings in our lives. One of them is the difficult person. If you care to bring to mind somebody in your life you find difficult right now. It might even be hard to choose. It would be wise not to choose the most difficult person. Somebody mildly difficult. Moderately difficult. Notice what happens choosing just one person, how that affects your demeanor, your energy. Noticing that they too suffer. They too want to belong. They too just want to be happy. perhaps seeing their humanity or even the common humanity. All beings suffer. The first noble truth that all beings suffer, and suffering is meant to be understood. Even if they've been unskillful and hurtful towards you. Noticing that they hurt as well. Softening in the heart. Perhaps caring about their suffering. If this feels too difficult, come back to yourself or someone else you feel deeply cares for you. That senses your goodness. Knowing that caring about somebody who may have hurt you, been unskillful with you, that they're hurting too, but that you don't need to allow them to continue to hurt you. If it helps to put your hand on your heart to feel that sense of contact, please do so now. Having a greater sense of your intention to come from the heart. Now taking just a few moments in silence, either coming back to yourself or with this difficult person. allowing, not needing to change anything. And in closing, I'd like to read a quote from David White from Consolations, the Solace, Nourishment, and Underlying Meaning of Everyday Words. Anger is the deepest form of compassion for another, for the world, for the self, for a life, for the body, for a family, and for all our ideals, all vulnerable and all possibly about to be hurt. Stripped of physical imprisonment and violent reaction, anger is the purest form of care. The internal living flame of anger always illuminates what we belong to, what we wish to protect, and what we are willing to hazard ourselves for. Anger is the deepest form of compassion for another, for the world, for the self, for a life, for the body, for a family, and for all our ideals, all vulnerable and all possibly about to be hurt. Stripped of physical imprisonment and violent reaction, anger is the purest form of care. The internal living flame of anger always illuminates what we belong to, what we wish to protect, and what we are willing to hazard ourselves for. And if it's in your practice now to bring your palms together in front of your chest, taking these moments to bow, to honor, to hold sacred your intentions to show up here today, your efforts at being kinder, wiser, belonging to each other, belonging to the world. Knowing our collective suffering and wishing well. May all beings be happy and know peace, ease of heart, mind, body. And whenever you're ready, feel free to open your eyes. Let yourself move around if you like.